Hi guys, I'm Sally Lyndley. Welcome to this episode of Stylist Studio. On this episode, I want to answer some questions that I've been getting through LinkedIn and through different comments on my site and through email about how to break into styling. So, I know it's kind of a big question mark, and I make the same recommendation to everyone, no matter where they live. I always recommend, if you can, move to a city that's considered a fashion city. I consider the main fashion cities to be Paris, London, New York, and Milan, because that's where the important fashion shows are, and that's where the biggest fashion magazines exist, which is the best place to currently get an education at the moment if you want to be a stylist. If you can move to one of those cities, then great. That's what I started when I was young at the Dallas Morning News. I'm from Texas. The Dallas Morning News, which was our local newspaper, the biggest local newspaper, had a fashion section. So I started working for the stylist who worked there, was the creative director there. That's how I started. Then she introduced me to, and I started flying to New York with her to crash runway shows and sleep on her floor. But I knew the minute that I started going to New York that I wanted to live and be in New York and be a stylist in New York and work in New York. So I started out in Dallas, Texas, but found my way to New York as fast as I could. I also did detours to Milan, Paris, and London to produce fashion shows and eventually work as a stylist and assistant stylist in Paris and an assistant stylist in London, and then became a stylist on my own while in London, and then ended up moving back to New York. If you're interested in celebrity styling, LA obviously is the biggest place in the world to be for that, and it's a little bit more cost efficient than any of the other cities I just mentioned. But if you're in a smaller town and you have a local newspaper that has some sort of lifestyle or style or fashion section, I highly recommend reaching out to them and asking whoever the stylist or the main editor there is if you can assist on photo shoots. Now, why that's important is because you'll get access to the model agencies in town, which you need to start, creating a relationship with so you can do testing for your own portfolio. You'll meet the photographers in town, again, so you can meet the assistant photographers to test with and do your portfolio. And you'll meet the hair and makeup teams in town that can do good hair and makeup. Now, if there isn't a local newspaper that you want to work for, I would also look for blogs and bloggers who are shooting on a regular basis, who may be based in your town. That's a place to start. And if none of that exists, then start your own fashion blog. And if you do start your own fashion blog, focus on local designers, local photographers, hair and makeup teams, models, model agencies, any of that kind of stuff that you can start to create relationships with in your town to start to build your own little fashion empire. Now, the reason I recommend people go to work at a magazine or at a newspaper is because the stylists working there have generally been in the business for a while. So they'll be able to help you figure out how to do each type of job that there is under styling, because there's magazine or editorial work, which can also be blogs or basically photo shoots that are for free or next to nothing with pay, that are for marketing purposes for stylists. There are commercial jobs, which are like ad jobs and lookbook jobs. They're also usually photo shoots or video shoots. There are runway shows, there are designer consultancies, and then there's celebrity styling. So there's so many different types of styling. I really recommend the best way to break into styling is go find a stylist that you look up to and intern for them. Now, interning is the way to start because that's when you're learning and you don't know how to do the jobs. So you necessarily shouldn't get paid in the beginning to do it. I didn't get paid for a really long time. I think I got paid like $100 a week or something to intern in the beginning, but I already knew how it worked because I'd already been on photo shoots as a model, and I'd already styled a couple things on my own for a local hair salon in Dallas. So, I think that it's about going and learning, interning, working for the best person you could possibly work for free, and then you'll slowly start to move up into an assistant position and then go out on your own and become your own stylist. Now, if assisting isn't what you want to do, unless you're really, really good at making friends and finding photographers and hair and makeup teams and all that kind of stuff to work with, then you can just go directly and just start doing your own portfolio and then figuring out how to find clients. But generally, stylists find agents, stylists find their whole teams, their creative teams they work with, through their assisting positions with other stylists. So that's why I really drive home the concept of going to work for a local stylist at a magazine, so you can see how number one, magazine, which is the first stage, or blogging, any kind of editorial photo shoot works, because that's the first stage for any stylist to build their career. So have fun working on your career, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Stylist Studio. Check you later.